This first finding was made by a YouTuber known as Happy Hippie during one of his outdoor trips. Happy Hippie had been traveling deep through the Scottish wilderness when he came across a remote bothy called the White Lagan. But unusually, the shelter appeared completely empty upon his arrival. The bothy itself was a simple unlocked refuge, typically free for anyone to use. Upon entering to check for other occupants, he found no one inside.
Oh, nice bunk beds. Alright, sweet. Nice and cozy. Said I wanted to take up fishing. Someone's left a little homemade fishing rod. Really sweet. You see some pretty weird shit written on doors. That's normally the shit you see. Smoke that shit. And that's a common one. If you can see it, it says fuck Bill Gates. That one, little coordinates. Think I'm gonna go check it out? Hell no. But I'm sure someone's just joking.
He would ultimately begin unpacking and settling in for the night, though aside from a few old clothes, some fire-starting supplies and writing on the walls, there was very little inside. He, however, had no idea that something unexpected was about to occur. His inspection of the bothy took place deep in the Scottish wilderness, and at first, according to him, everything appeared completely normal, but this wasn't going to stay true for long.
I got one of them water filter straws, and it comes with 2 little bags as well, so you can attach the straw to that, but I've not got to use... Oh, maybe this is the guests? There was no one there. I don't know if that's just the people fucking with me or something. I don't know if that's something they do. But I don't think it would be that family if it was just a dad and his daughter and son.
He was completely alone in the bothy when he first heard a sound coming from somewhere inside. Assuming it was another hiker looking for a place to rest, he waited, but nobody came. Then, a loud knocking started at the door.
Just knocking on the door again, and then I went out, but there was no one there, so I don't know what's going on, but I've not heard of any haunted bobbies or anything. I've never had weird shit. Fuck's sake. Just wanted a nice little bobby night. If you've watched all my videos before, you know I don't do shit like this. Fun night.
He stepped outside into the dark tree line to check, but found absolutely nothing there. A few minutes later, he came back inside and tried to settle down, yet heavy footsteps could soon be clearly heard coming from the other room.
And they're walking around into the room, and then I go in there, and it just stops. Maybe I just put my music on really loud and forget about it. Cameraman never dies, right?
These sounds were so distinct, they were actually captured on the video, proving he wasn't just imagining things. The bothy remained completely empty. Whoever or whatever was making the noise stayed hidden, making sure it was never seen. While many thought it was just the wind or an animal, some believed something much stranger was happening. Whether this is true or not is still unknown. In autumn of 2024, a YouTuber named Gaz uploaded footage to his channel Grizzly Gaz of a solo night camp in a woodland he had heard was frequently visited by pagans for rituals. He arrived just after dark with his dog Fendi, found a spot near a large fallen tree and set up his tent. After a quick meal, he took Fendi for a walk through the pitch-black woods to explore the area. The place felt unsettling: dead trees, rustling leaves, and a cold breeze. They headed back to the tent and settled in for the night. That's when things started to get strange.
That wind's picking up. That's nice, isn't it, mate?
Branches were falling unusually close to the tent, his light kept cutting out, and Fendi was becoming increasingly restless. Then while Gaz was lying in his tent, something pushed down hard on the top of it.
Oh, fuck! 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 Fuck!
He immediately got out to see what it was, and found absolutely nothing there. Both him and Fendi were now terrified. Gaz made the decision to pack up and leave, but while he was gathering his things, he heard what sounded like 20 to 30 men screaming and running. He grabbed his bag and ran, leaving his tent behind.
Wow, what a crazy night that was, eh? When I was packing up, I managed to get my my sleeping bag and everything and get that in my backpack. Then I heard loads and loads of screaming, like shouting from men, and it sounded like there were about 20 or 30 of them. And then they all started running, and it sounded like they were coming towards tent, so I just grabbed my bag and off skis.
When he returned the next day, his tent had been ripped and deliberately damaged. Whoever was out there clearly didn't want him coming back. In June of 2022, Megan Page decided to go into the woods in Humboldt County, California, to film a story time and clear her head after a difficult few days. She runs a YouTube channel where she shares her life like a personal journal, usually speaking honestly about her thoughts and everyday experiences. While she was recording, something happened that she never saw coming, and things nearly took a bad turn. She had gone there to be alone and reflect, but the situation quickly became unsettling as she continued filming.
So that's why I'm in Humboldt. That's why I'm back in Humboldt. I'm staying at my dad's again, and it's really bad. Every day we've been scream fighting. And then I come to the woods for like 4 hours and decompress. And then I go back home, and then he acts like nothing happens. Like a true narcissist. Like the true narcissist he is. Okay, well, you scared me.
Oh, thanks. Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm a sweetheart. Don't worry.
Okay, I'm
You're
sorry.
probably more dangerous than me. You're probably more evil than me. Look at the dark hair you're saying. You're bomb. Little stoner.
Okay, that was terrifying.
Because he had simply walked away, this would pretty much mark the moment she decided to leave. Without wasting any time, she gathered her belongings, packed up quickly, and got out of the woods right then and there.
I'm shaking. That was scary. Thought I was just about to get killed. He said that I looked evil. I can't even enjoy the woods because of tweakers. Like, look how beautiful it is here. I love Humboldt, but the tweakers, he was coming right at me. And so obviously I'm gonna be scared. And then he's like, you're probably more scary than me. Your dark hair and your veins. Like, sir, I'm just a cute stoner trying to smoke my weed in the woods.
Still unsettled by the encounter, viewers began searching for an explanation. The following discussions consisted of several different theories about the man's intentions, but none of them could be confirmed. Some believed he was simply passing through the area, while others were convinced he had deliberately approached her. Upon reviewing the footage, certain details stood out. There was no visible path or road nearby, and she appeared to be completely alone. His behavior also seemed to shift once he noticed the camera, as he quickly changed his tone before leaving. Because of how unusual the interaction appeared, leaving the area became the only reasonable choice. Without wasting any time, she gathered her belongings and exited the woods. But whether the man truly meant any harm, or if the situation was simply misunderstood, is still up for debate. To this day, his true intentions remain unknown. The Canham's Outdoors is a YouTube channel dedicated to solo overnight camping adventures, where the creator explores the British countryside searching for quiet and peaceful spots to spend the night. But in June 2024, one of those nights turned out to be anything but peaceful. He had found himself an old quarry, deep in the middle of nowhere, and set up his hammock between two trees as the sun was still up. It seemed like a decent spot, open, quiet, away from everything. But as the light faded and darkness began to creep in, the atmosphere of the place shifted entirely. Something about it just didn't feel right. As the night drew on, the noises kept coming, sounds he couldn't place, couldn't identify, and couldn't ignore. Then at one point a large commotion erupted roughly 20 meters from where he was sitting, loud enough and close enough to make him genuinely uneasy. But more than the noises, it was the feeling that was getting to him. That persistent, creeping sensation of being watched. He found himself constantly scanning the darkness around him, looking over his shoulder again and again, something he openly admitted was completely out of character for him. The quarry was unusually dark for an open space, and that darkness felt heavy.
I just feel like someone's watching me. Every now and again there's a noise. It's too spooky. I just don't feel right. I think I'm going to get out of here.
He made the decision to pack up and leave, but even as he gathered his things and started making his way back through the quarry toward the van, the sounds didn't stop. Whatever had been making them was still out there, somewhere in the dark around him. He got lost on the way back, stumbling through the quarry before finally finding his way to the van. Back at the van, still visibly shaken, he began recounting what had happened. That's when he mentioned something that made the whole thing even more unsettling.
Right guys, just got back to the van. Bloody hell. I got lost and everything. What a nightmare. Chucked everything in the bag. That place weren't for me. It's just too creepy. Hearing noises. It's probably nothing, but you know, when I was on my way in there, I could hear ladies sort of talking in the bushes, and I'd sort of look round, and there was nothing. So that put me on edge a bit.
On his way into the quarry earlier that evening, before any of this had started, he had heard what sounded unmistakably like a woman talking in the bushes nearby. He looked around. There was absolutely nobody there. Not a soul in any direction. He had no explanation for it then, and he still had none now. Whatever was in that quarry that night, he never found out. And given that he got lost just trying to leave, it's safe to say he won't be going back. Exploring with Bear is a channel where Jared Bear documents his solo camping adventures, often venturing into remote and unsettling locations in search of the unexplained. Sightings of Bigfoot and Dogmen have been reported by viewers multiple times from his videos. But in February 2026, things went far beyond just a sighting. Jared returned to a location that already had a dark history for him. The last time he camped there, he was attacked, and something was found killed right next to where his tent had been. Despite all of that, he came back alone. As the temperature continued to drop and darkness fully settled over the woods, Jared noticed something at the tree line that stopped him cold.
Wait a minute. I just seen eyes. I seen the eyes twice, so I know I seen eyes. Where'd you go?
A pair of glowing eyes staring directly back at him from the darkness. What made it particularly disturbing was that there was no light source anywhere nearby, nothing that could have caused a reflection, nothing that could explain what he was seeing. He stayed in the tent and tried to keep himself together. Then came something that made it impossible to stay calm.
That's somebody walking.
The unmistakable sound of footsteps, not somewhere off in the distance, not an animal passing through. These were close, and they were moving around the tent, slowly, deliberately, like whatever was out there was taking its time. Moments later, the entire night erupted with a thunderous crash right outside, loud, violent, and completely without warning.
Hello? Oh!
And then it touched the tent.
Oh! No, I'm armed. Hey.
Something on the outside made direct physical contact with the tent walls. At that point, Jared had no choice but to make it known he was armed, hoping that would be enough to make whatever was out there think twice. He was now sitting inside a thin piece of fabric in the pitch black with no idea what had just happened inches away from him, and no idea if whatever caused it was still standing right there.
Holy smokes, there's a tree there. There's a tree. There's just a tree thrown there. Okay, we're going to the truck.
He forced himself to open the tent and look outside. A whole tree had come down and landed directly at his campsite. Not near it, not close to it, right there as if it had been put there deliberately. That was enough. He grabbed his bag, left his entire camp behind, and ran to his truck. On the drive away, still shaking, he admitted that for a solid 10 minutes back there, he genuinely believed he was going to die. Whatever was moving through those woods that night, whether animal, human, or something that doesn't fit neatly into either category, it had found him at that campsite once before, and it found him again.